Welcome to Brainish English Stories.
There was once a merchant, a man who buys and sells things, who lived near the royal palace, the king's house. He had 3 daughters. They were all pretty, but Maria, the youngest one, was the prettiest. One day, the king sent for the merchant. The merchant had no wife, because she had died. The king wanted to talk to the merchant about a trip he wanted the man to make. The merchant did not want to go, because he did not like leaving his daughters alone. But he had to listen to the king. So, with a sad heart, he went home to say goodbye to his daughters. Before he left, he gave them 3 pots of basil, a kind of plant. He gave 1 pot to each daughter. He said, "I am going on a trip, but I leave you these pots. Do not let anyone enter the house. When I come back, the pots will show me what has happened." "Nothing will happen," the girls said. The father left. The next day, the king came to visit the 3 girls. He brought 2 friends with him. The girls were sitting and eating supper, evening meal. When they saw the king and his friends, Maria said, "Let us go and get a bottle of wine from the cellar, a room under the house. I will take the key, my oldest sister will take the light, and the other sister will bring the bottle." But the king said, "Oh, don't worry. We are not thirsty." "Okay, then we will not go," said the 2 older girls. But Maria said, "I will go anyway." She left the room. She went to the hall, turned off the light, and put down the key and the bottle. Then she ran to the house of a neighbor, a person who lives nearby, and knocked on the door. "Who is there so late?" asked an old woman, looking out of the window. "Please let me in," said Maria. "I had a fight with my oldest sister. I don't want to fight anymore. Please let me sleep at your house." So the old woman opened the door, and Maria slept at her house. The king was very angry because Maria left without saying anything. But when Maria came back the next day, she saw that her sister's plants were dead. They had disobeyed their father. The window in the oldest sister's room looked into the king's garden. She saw that the medlars, a type of fruit, on the trees were ready to eat. She wanted to eat some and asked Maria to go down into the garden using a rope and pick some for her. She said she would pull Maria back up with the rope. Maria was kind, so she went down into the garden with the rope. She got the medlars and was ready to go back up. But her sister saw some lemons nearby and said, "Oh, please get me 1 or 2 lemons too." Maria turned to pick the lemons and saw the gardener. He caught her and shouted, "What are you doing here, little thief?" "Don't call me names," Maria said. "You will be sorry." And she pushed him very hard. He fell into the lemon bushes. Maria quickly took the rope and climbed back to the window. The next day, the second sister wanted some bananas. She asked many times, and finally Maria said yes, even though she didn't want to. She went down into the king's garden again. This time, she saw the king. he said. "Ah, here you are again, clever girl. Now you will pay for what you have done." He asked her many questions about what she had done. Maria told him everything. Then the king said, "Come with me to the house. There you will be punished." He started walking and looked back often to see if Maria was still following him. But suddenly, when he looked behind again, Maria was gone. She had disappeared. No one could find her. People searched the whole town. They looked in every place, but they did not find her. The king was very angry. He became very sick, and for many months people thought he might die. Some time later, the two older sisters married the king's two friends. Each sister had a little daughter. One day, Maria went secretly to her older sister's house. She picked up the two babies and put them in a beautiful basket she had brought. The basket was covered with flowers inside and outside, so no one would know there were babies inside. Then, Maria dressed like a boy. She put the basket on her head and walked slowly past the king's palace. As she walked, she called out, "Who will take these flowers to the king, who is sick with love?" The king was in bed and heard her. He told one of his helpers to go and buy the basket. The basket was brought to him. When he opened the lid, he heard crying. He looked inside and saw two little children. The king was very angry. He thought Maria had played another trick on him. He was still looking at the babies, wondering how to punish Maria, when someone told him that the merchant, Maria's father, had come back home. The king remembered how Maria had not let him visit her and how she had taken fruit from his garden. Now he wanted revenge. So the king sent a message to Maria's father. The message said he must come to the palace the next day and bring a coat made of stone. If he did not bring it, he would be punished. Maria's father was very sad. He had just come home the night before. His daughters had promised that nothing bad would happen while he was gone, but now he saw that the two older daughters had married without his permission. And now this new problem. How could he make a coat from stone? He held his head in his hands and said, "The king will ruin me." At that moment, Maria came in and said, "Don't worry about the coat of stone, dear father. Take this small piece of chalk. Go to the palace and say you came to measure the king." Her father didn't understand how that would help. But Maria had helped him many times before, so he trusted her. He put the chalk in his pocket and went to the palace. "That's useless," said the king when the merchant told him why he came. "Well, I cannot make the coat you want," said Maria's father. "Then, to save your life, give me your daughter Maria," said the king. The old man said nothing. He went home very sad. Maria was waiting for him. "Oh, my dear child," he cried, "why was I born? The king says I must give you to him." "Don't be sad, dear father," said Maria. "Just get a doll made that looks just like me. The doll must have a string on its head. When I pull the string, the doll's head will move to say yes or no. So her father went out to get the doll made. The king stayed in his palace and waited. He was sure that this time Maria would not escape. He told his helpers, "If a man comes with his daughter and wants to speak to me, take the young lady to my room and do not let her leave." When Maria came, she had the doll hidden under her cloak, a long coat. After the helpers shut the door, she hid under the bed, holding the string that was tied to the doll's head. "Lady Maria, I hope you are well," said the king when he came into the room. The doll nodded its head. "Now we will talk about everything that happened," said the king. He told the whole story, from the beginning to the flower basket. Every time he said something, Maria pulled the string. The doll's head nodded, "Yes. Anyone who tricks me deserves to die," said the king. Then he took out his sword and cut off the doll's head. The head fell toward him, and as it touched him, he felt a kiss. He cried, "Oh Maria, Maria, so sweet in death, but so unkind in life. The man who killed you should die." He was about to use his sword on himself, but suddenly the real Maria jumped out from under the bed and ran into his arms. The next day, Maria and the king got married, and they lived happily for many years.